Hello guys! Recently I had a problem with this DC motor, and that is when I connected to a power source, it made a huge spark at the beginning. But not only this motor, but also one of my coils. So what are these? These are so-called inrush currents, and in this video let's see how do they happen and how to fix them by using some common components in electronics. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. First off, you might be thinking, what can happen with this inrush current on just half a second? Well, for an example, let's imagine you have a power controller circuit that cuts the power when a current more than 2 amps flows to prevent overcurrent. Now, as a load, we have got a motor. Now, when we connect the motor to the circuit, at a fraction of a second, the current can reach more than 2 amps, and thus the circuit turns off the output to prevent overcurrent. But why, you might ask? Now, a coil on its unpowered state, it has a very low resistance. Now, when a power source is connected, it starts creating the magnetic field, and this is where the problem is, and thus the current exceeds 2 amps. And once the coil has finished creating the magnetic field, the current drops to under 2 amps. And to understand it even better, here's the record of the peak. At first, the current is 2 amps and then goes to, let's say, 5 amps and drops to 3, then 2.5 and then to the normal 2 amps. Now, what's the solution then, you might ask? Solution number 1. We can use a resistor with a small value to limit the current, like a 1 ohm resistor like this. The problem with this method though is that we are wasting power with the resistor. Solution 2. Using this component, a so-called thermistor. Now I am having an NTC 8D-11. Now on its normal state, the resistance is around 8.9 ohms. But when current flows through it, the temperature increases and drops in resistance. Now the problem here is that the thermistor takes time to cool down, which means when we turn it off and immediately turn it back on, the inrush current will still occur. So on my final solution, I wanted to stick with the resistor method and use a circuit that waits for 1 second and then activates a relay, which then bypasses the resistor. Now for the circuit that can do this, we can use the delay circuit, which I showed you how to make one of them in my previous video. Now what happens is when the circuit is not powered, the relay has its contact open, and thus the current flows through the resistor. Now after 1 second, the relay activates and thus the current flows through the relay, and therefore there will be no inrush current anymore. Now if you ask, will only coils have this inrush current? Then I would say it is not, as electrolytic capacitors also have this big inrush current, and that is the moment where the devices called soft starters will come in use. I hope you have learned something new. If so, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Maybe also comment. Stay creative, and I will see you next time.